A 26-year-old wife has been sick for a few days. He got ill around the time of my brother's wedding. I took care of him for 24 hours for many days. He's on meds and can move, can go to the bathroom and eat on his own. I told him I was going to my brother's wedding, and he threw a fit, saying I couldn't leave him alone while he was sick. I told him he was not that sick. He's called back. It was just some stomach thing he was getting treatment for, and suggested he call his sister to stay with him. He said no and told me to miss it. I got upset and bluntly said no, and that he could survive a few hours while I attended the wedding. He sulked, and as I was leaving, he said he hoped I wouldn't ever come back. It hurt my feelings, but I know he was just mad and didn't mean it. At the wedding, I got a text from him saying he lost his balance and fell down the stairs, hurting his back. He said he was in a lot of pain. He threw up and couldn't move and insisted I get home as soon as possible. I freaked out and started calling his phone, but he didn't answer. I thought he must have passed out, and I freaked out even more. I got in my car and drove back to our house immediately. Actually, when I got home, I rushed toward the stairs while calling out his name, but he wasn't there. I started to really freak out. Ixakrama 18s. I ran into the bedroom and found him in bed drinking juice, and as soon as he saw me, he put the phone down. I instantly knew he lied, so I lost it on him and started yelling, saying he freaked me out and caused me to miss my brother's wedding for nothing. Absolutely nothing. He said that he had already told me I couldn't leave him alone in the house, and that this very scenario could have happened if I had stayed there any longer. I yelled at him, calling him horrible, which made him cry. He started crying and throwing his juice all over the place. I had to step out and call his sister, thinking she'd come help, but she came and started cussing me out, saying I had a lot of nerve expecting her to back me up after I so carelessly left her. Brother alone at the house in that state just to attend a party. We got into an argument and I went to stay with my family. My brother understood when I explained the situation to him. My husband and I haven't seen each other since then, but his sister kept saying I had no right to scream at her brother and cause him to have a panic attack, and said that at least he was straightforward with me from the start, but I chose to be dismissive. Was what I did dismissive? Girl, throw the whole man out. Seriously, your husband is a lying, manipulative, selfish idiot. And you know it. You deserve better than trash. Just how old is this guy exactly? For drinking juice in bed and throwing a tantrum. You know it's illegal to marry a child. So why does your fully mobile husband need 24-hour care for a stomachache? What can't he do or get for himself if he's alone? What are you doing for him when you're there that it's a priority? How much of this behavior extends into your everyday life regarding housework, errands, etc.? He sounds like the sort of man who belongs back at mommy's house as a singleton with his other mommy, sister. Your husband lied about a medical emergency just to get you to run home and continue to baby him. He doesn't want to take responsibility for his crappy actions, so he tries to shift the blame onto you. He's now giving you the silent treatment, which should never happen in a relationship, especially in a marriage. He's 23 years old and still acting like a child. His sister is full of crap. I'm assuming he lied to her about this situation. You didn't have a panic attack, and you weren't dismissive of him. Get out of this relationship. This is only the tip of the iceberg of what he's going to pull when you don't do as he says when he says it. He's a controlling, highly manipulative person and actively seeks to destroy your relationship with your family. Let's be clear, this was about control. Seriously, sis, please just leave. Pack your bags, call your family to help you move out and file for divorce. This is divorce-worthy because of the true malice behind it. I, a nearly adult male, usually pick up my youngest sister from school because I get out of school midday due to only having 3 classes. Before I go to school, I drop my mom off at work because her car is getting worked on, and my dad leaves for work around 4 a.m. This morning, I had made a pit stop at a gas station just before dropping off my mom. When I went inside the store, I noticed that they had these little snack packs of peanut butter and pretzels. So I grabbed one for my sister to pick her up because peanut butter and pretzels have been her all-time favorite snack since before she could even speak. As I was getting back in the car, my mom noticed the snack and asked why I had grabbed it. As to which I replied, "It's for my sister." Without hesitation, she says, "Oh, why would you get her that?"
Peanut butter is so fattening.
Trust me, your sister doesn't need to gain any more weight. Let me just get it out and say that my twin sister is not overweight at all. And even if she was, what mother speaks about her child that way? So being in an angered state, I got sort of sharp at the tongue and said to her, "Well, you could stand to lose a bit of weight yourself." Normally, when my mom says things like this, she and I will go at each other. But I've never said anything like this.
Telling me that it was unacceptable to speak to her that way. Telling me that it was disrespectful to say, and that I needed to apologize.
I didn't apologize because I felt like if she didn't want it said about her, then why say it about your kid? School lets me out and my dad has blown up my phone, telling me that if I don't apologize to my mom, then I'd better have my stuff packed when I get home because my mom called him crying and upset. I admit that I even caught myself off guard by being sly at the mouth, but I don't feel I need to apologize to her if she can say the same thing about my kid sister. That's it. I told my dad that when I called him after school, and he said, "I know your mom can say things that aren't the nicest sometimes, but you need to be a man and not get involved in any girly." The banter. So in my opinion, my mom fat-shaming a kid, her kid isn't just girly banter. Not the idiot. Another example of mom dishing it out, but unable to take it. Mom seems bent on driving her daughter into an eating disorder.
Do your parents' reaction seems extreme? Are they often this overtop in their reactions?
Since you're not 18, they can get into trouble with CPS if they throw you out now. They're legally required to provide for you until you're 18. You might mention that to them if they try to throw you out and be ready to get booted out with no support the moment you're 18. Just a woman who threatens to kick their son out for not taking out the trash, and fat shames a tween will not come to some understanding. But to do what you must to protect your siblings, but please do not think that your mom is justified in some way. Your dad is also just as guilty. He's enabling your mom to be an abuser. I unfortunately had a very similar dynamic growing up and wish my older sibling had stood up when I was being fat-shamed as an arguably underweight child. You're a good brother and a good son. Sorry you have to deal with this. His dad really meant don't disagree with your mom because we'll all have to deal with her craziness. Then he's being a coward, abandoning the kids to deal with her unpleasantness. He could be stopping it and making everyone in the family happier, but he isn't stepping up. I, 31, female, have a great relationship with my family. We get together on most Sundays to make an early dinner. We alternate between my parents hosting or hosting at my husband's and my home. I also have a younger brother who's 27. He lives alone. So yesterday I was hosting dinner. That was going to be my parents, my mom's best friend who was up visiting them, my brother, my husband, and I planned a nice meal. Roasted chicken, mashed potatoes, asparagus, roasted squash, stuffing, cranberry sauce, roasted Brussels sprouts with apples, and bacon. About an hour before we planned on eating, my brother texted me to let me know his girlfriend, Becky, who is 32, was with him, along with her child, Judy. Not a huge deal, but a little more notice would have been appreciated. Both his girlfriend and her kid are vegetarians. I set 2 more places at the table and figured with all the sides, there was enough that they could eat. I'll be honest, we don't really care for his girlfriend, but my family has a rule that you don't mess with other people's relationships. My brother's an adult. Becky just seems very opportunistic, and her kid is very weird. They've been together 8 months, have broken up twice, and after 6 months, she asked if she could move into his place because it's in a better school district than her apartment. So here's where it hit the fan, and I might be the idiot. We sit for dinner, and Judy asks where April will sit. I look around, confused.
April is her imaginary friend.
This kid is 9 and is not special needs.
Starts shrieking that April needs to eat, having a total tantrum.
Tries to calm things down, suggesting she share her place and seat, which she refuses, demanding a chair and a plate.
Tells me to just set a spot.
My dining room table has 8 chairs, all in use.
It's louder than everyone else's, is shock. Tosses herself to the ground.
Get flustered and tell her to please get her to stop.
Mrs. goes on the attack, calling me rude and heartless for not giving in to her kid. Loving knows I hate kids, and that's why we don't have any.
We are child-free, but I like my friends' kids, not brats.
As on a rant about how I know that they're vegetarians, and it wasn't nice of me not to offer a main that was vegetarian-friendly, and that I put bacon in the Brussels sprouts.
Snapped back that I didn't even know they were coming and I wasn't the one who invited her. She's screaming at me in my home. The kid is flailing on the ground, crying, and I had enough. I told her if she couldn't respect me in my home, she should leave. She screams at my brother to get up. They're leaving, and he informs her that he's staying. Everyone is shocked, but we eat. My brother silences his phone because she's blowing it up, and he's shell-shocked. She's now slamming my family and me on social media and accusing us of trying to break them up. Am I the idiot for not accommodating her and her kid better than asking them to leave? I tried to be polite and a generous host, but I had enough. No one has ever been more not the idiot. This is unreal. I hope your brother ditches this woman. I don't think she should be allowed back into your home. Maybe I'd say let her come back if she profusely apologizes and publicly posts on social media that she was wrong. Did they want you to build a 9th chair? I get that you can probably scrounge up something. An office chair, stool, and table with a pillow to pass as a chair for an imaginary friend. But you weren't given a chance to do that because of all that lead to the screaming. Luckily, it doesn't sound like they'll ever be over again. Seriously, she shows up on short notice and doesn't understand why the meal and setting aren't catered to her preferences. She's a nut. I'm not surprised her kid is a nightmare. I've Punses Emmer Mace. I'm a 22-year-old female, and my mom's 39, the oldest child. She met my stepdad when she was 19, and he was 27. They were married a year later and went on to have my siblings, N 18 male, A nearly adult female, and T teen female. It's not a secret that I don't like my stepdad. My mom was a vulnerable teenager when she met him, and he was a grown man. He made her quit school and become a housewife while isolating her from her family. I left at 18 because I couldn't stand seeing him with her. I hate how he talks to her and how he's treated her their entire relationship. I visit when he's working, so I don't have to see him but still get to see my family. So my dislike for him is obvious. My sister T had a birthday dinner a few days ago, and she wanted me and my girlfriend, 24, to be there. So despite my dislike for my stepdad, I went because I wanted my little sister to be happy. At the dinner, somehow the fact that my girlfriend is 24 was mentioned, and my stepdad made a face before asking her, "You don't think it's inappropriate to date someone who can hardly legally drink?" I think all the years of quiet resentment just bubbled over because I didn't even think about it before I asked him if he developed those morals before or after he started dating a vulnerable teen. When he was nearly 30. He got red in the face and my mom quickly changed the subject. The following day, I got a text from my mom saying that my stepdad doesn't want me coming over to the house anymore, even when he isn't there. Apparently, he made that announcement to my siblings too, and since then, both of my sisters have started giving him the silent treatment. My brother texted saying he agrees with me, and he wishes our mom would leave his dad too, but I shouldn't have done it at T's birthday dinner. My girlfriend agrees with my brother, but I talked to T, and as far as she's concerned, nothing I said was inaccurate, and she thinks her dad should have kept his mouth shut if he didn't want me calling him out. The whole extended family found out about it, though So now my stepdad's mom is accusing me of lashing out at him because my mother never married my father, so they think I'm just jealous apparently. The whole thing's an absolute mess, and I'm being called an idiot for ruining my sister's birthday dinner. In Dutch, we say he got a cookie made from his own dough. Not the idiot at all. Oh, lies were told. I applaud you for that amazing comment. He calls you out, but has a surprised Pikachu face when he gets called out. He's a hypocrite. Is your family mad because they discovered what happened or because stepdad told them his version? Because yeah, he's guilty of what he's preaching. I'd ensure they're not just being fed an altered version of actual events. It won't matter. They sound like the type that family trumps all. It take an act of God, Congress, and Shiva acting in concert to change their minds. Maybe the birthday dinner wasn't the most appropriate time, but all you did was speak the truth. Ifepsportin 7-year-olds only date teenagers because they can't find someone their own age to put up with them. I hope your mom comes to her senses and leaves him. My boyfriend Sam, 32, and I, female 30, have been living together for 3 years now, together for 4. Sam has always known that I dreamt of living in one of the southern cone countries, and he knows that I would have moved there if I hadn't met him. I picked up Spanish last year, and somehow he completely ignored it until he heard me today on a video chat with my language partner. After that, I think he realized how much progress I had made, and I wasn't just playing around. He doesn't want to move from the States, and I accept that. And I accept that if I'm with him, we make those decisions together. However, I firmly believe that just because I don't have plans to do something now doesn't mean that it'll never happen. And who knows what may happen in the future? And at least I'll be prepared. No harm in learning, right? That's not how he saw it. He blew up at me, telling me that I should stop and that we're never moving. So what's the point of learning it? He said that he felt that I would leave and it makes him feel insecure, and I should just drop it. I told him, no, it means nothing. And I explained my reasoning, and he accused me of planning to leave and not thinking we'd always be together. He told his family about this, and I've had phone calls all day telling me that I should respect his wishes and calling me an idiot and heartless and a witch. I thought I did nothing wrong, but I'm seriously questioning myself now. Am I the idiot for carrying on with learning? You are the idiot for not moving to your dream country, for a guy who flipped out because you learned another language and then sent his family after you. When his family calls you, respond in Spanish. Good practice. Break up with him. The moment someone has their family calling you a witch, I would have lost it. This is over. This ain't learning a new language. Who cares if you want to go visit once in a while? You said you aren't moving. He should have taken your word for it. Instead, he chose a disgusting and inappropriate route. Screw that guy. Throw him out already. Why is a man that loves you holding you back from growing and becoming a better person? It's if it makes him feel insecure to see you learning and bettering yourself, he needs to sort that out. Because if you let him be this controlling on such a small issue, he will continue to cut you down to your level. A loving partner should support you and encourage your growth, not hold you back. Not that guy. And please find a partner who will support your dream.